here's where it's probably best to begin. So all of our businesses, whether we like it or not, look like this. That's an ugly funnel, but there is the very top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of our funnel, where new clients and people that we are serving will come out in a magical sort of way. That's supposed to be magic right there at the bottom. Now, when I say top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, I don't want you to think fancy like I'm talking about ClickFunnels or I'm talking about online marketing or anything like that. I'm just talking about top of funnel being where people learn about your existence, right? They get to know you. At the very top of the funnel, that could be you making a post on social media and people seeing it that had never met you before. That could be a number of different things. The middle funnel of the funnel is where people come to start to like you. This is where they're building a relationship with you, whether you realize it or not. That's an ugly L, so let me redo that. So the middle of the funnel is the like part, and the bottom of the funnel is where the sales are made, and that is where trust is built and people become your clients. So what are, and this is preliminary, but this is stuff that's important to go over. What are top of the funnel activities? Let me move my camera image over there. So top of the funnel activities, meaning activities where people will get to know you for the first time, are things like content creation. So that could be like writing a blog post, doing a podcast, appearing on media, right? So you're creating content. It could be YouTube or video of some kind. It could be social media, etc. This is you creating content where people are getting to know you. It could be things like shorts meaning video, but like 30-second, 60-second videos of you that are engaging enough to your potential client to where you're getting on their radar. This is all we're doing, is we're introducing ourselves at this point as far as getting on their radar. It could be an ad that you run, or ads. For me, I run a lot of ads, and I run different kinds of ads with short videos, with content, right to an application, things like that. And in many cases, people are running across me for the very, very first time, literally seeing an ad. It could be an ad for a workshop or a webinar that I'm doing, or in the past, a challenge, that sort of thing. And certainly something that's big for me are ads for my book, right? Either the digital or the free plus shipping, okay? These are all things that will help to introduce me to an audience where they can get to know me right out of the gate, okay? Now, what happens further down the funnel? Oh, by the way, a big one might be speaking engagements, right? What happens further down towards the middle of the funnel as people grow to like you? And this can happen very quickly, right? This could happen in a short video, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, where what you're teaching or what you're talking about completely aligns with the way they think, and they very quickly decide that they like you and that they're interested in whatever it is that you're offering. So where does this go? Well, this middle of the funnel is where someone might opt in to, it could be a lead magnet, it could be an application where people are filling out a form for a call, right? It could be buying a lower ticket item like $7.95 book, or $4.95 digital book, right? Going back up to here, but they're making a decision. This call and the purchasing are the things that we primarily focus on. I don't do a lot of opt-in funnels right now, except when it comes to, like, if I'm doing a workshop, then We don't require them to buy anything. All they have to do is give us their name and email address, and they'll opt in to the workshop itself. Okay. So from here, they're making that initial decision because they've liked us. Now, they're not necessarily spending an enormous amount of money because perhaps the trust isn't built, but, you know, to spend $7.95 or $27 or even $97, et cetera, you know, that can be a decision that's made very quickly. To fill out an application, to schedule a call, you know, to sign up for a workshop that they may never even go to. Those are decisions that they can make fairly quickly. However, the next step is where they're making a larger decision, where they're really becoming a client of whatever it is. For us, it's our high ticket done for you services. And this is going to happen primarily on one of two options, and I'll share more about this when I talk about the flywheel part. This is going to happen primarily either on that one-to-one call, and then an offer is made, or it's going to happen on a workshop of some kind that is one-to-many, but is going to make an offer as well that will require a large deposit, $997. You know this, many of you became clients this way. And then that goes to a call to finalize the opportunity. I'm speaking for us, but I'm also speaking in general. So you have to have some type of system, there's that word, that brings people into the top of your funnel on a regular basis. And these are the various options, right? Content, blog, you can blog, podcast, YouTube, media, videos, you know, shorts, ads, book, speaking engagements, for us, workshop, application, etc., right? Social media in general. So there's lots of ways, and you may have a dozen other ways, but something has to be done systematically to bring people into the top of this funnel. And then from there to warm them up, right? This is the warming process as they go from here down, where they like you and they trust you and they can make a larger buying decision. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to point out for simplicity, for those of you that see all this and go, you know, I just hope the phone rings. And that's the way a lot of business owners work. They just hope they're going to get a referral. They hope that the phone is going to ring. They hope somebody is going to come around. Hope is not a strategy in business, not a strategy anywhere. It's certainly needed and it's important, but it's not a strategy. We want to have a strategy so that we're doing something systematically and we can get a replicatable result week in, week out, month in, month out. And that is you choosing something at the top right here so that you're bringing people into the top of the funnel and then warming them up. A couple things that's important is there should be a process. We use email. There should be a process to, once somebody gets on your list, to warm them up and then send them to your other conversion opportunities like the workshop, right? Or like the strategy session call, etc. So just because somebody initially applies to have a call, maybe they never show up, or maybe that call goes well, but they just haven't built up enough trust to make a buying decision yet. Well, you've got to send them back, right, into the middle of the funnel to build a little bit more trust, to build them a little bit more like. I'm going to share with you some ways. This is part of the flywheel process, right? Not everybody that sees an ad, fills out an application, and gets on a call with you or with a team member is going to be ready to buy right away. So they have to be rewarmed up, helped, etc. We've started to use a Facebook group for this. To be quite honest, I haven't done a very good job, even though we've already monetized our Facebook group, but that is a mechanism to warm people up. You bring them into a group, you deliver content, you show that you're capable, you show that you're trustworthy, you build a relationship, and then you move them right back to a workshop or to a strategy session call. This is your conversion event. Okay. I know there's a lot of ugliness on this, but I hope you're following me. It's not that complicated. You have to choose something, and then you have to warm them up and move them through the funnel to get people to become clients. And people are always at different places in this funnel, hopefully, right? Because unless you're like many realtors that I worked with and that I myself was like in the early days, where you bust your butt, you get a bunch of listings, you go on a bunch of appointments, you show a bunch of houses, you sell 3, 4, 5 houses in a week-long period, and then you don't do anything for the next 3 months except for close those deals. And then you close all those deals, you're flush with cash, and then guess what happens? You're out of business. You have nobody moving along in the funnel. You don't have the next thing going on, and you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? I guess I need to hustle. And you can expect your next payday to be 3 months down the road. That is not a great process. That's what we did when we were a lot younger, when we were immature, and you can't run a business that way. Not one that you're going to be happy with anyway. Okay. So we always have to have people moving into the top of the funnel, moving through the middle of the funnel, coming to the bottom of the funnel, and experiencing an opportunity in a conversion event, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. Everybody clear with me on these elements so far? This is the preliminary stuff. This is the warm-up stuff. Okay. All right. So let us go back and let's create a new whiteboard. And now let's talk about the actual flywheel idea in and of itself, and then talk about the elements of a flywheel. First of all, when you think of a marketing flywheel or a flywheel, I don't know if that means anything to you, but let's go ahead and define the idea, and then let's talk about how to build one and what that looks like for you. So the idea is this. The idea is that you create small wins for people over time. And with those small wins, let me move the camera here again. And with those small wins, you're building a relationship with people that creates momentum and fuels growth. It fuels growth in such a way that at one point or another, it may feel like it is automatic, and it may feel like it is natural and easy. That's really what we want our business to look like, is we want to have something where, because of the movement that we are creating on one side of the wheel, there is this machine in place that produces a great result, and that great result increases more and more and more, right? It's like, it's like an idea, like where you have this, this is very ugly. I am not an artist in any way, but let me at least give you an idea. So you got 2 wheels. You got a big wheel that needs to do a lot of the work. You have a little wheel. And so the idea is that, people are coming in the beginning of this process. They're warming up. You're giving them small wins. They are somewhere along the process becoming a client. And then as a client, with the wins that you're giving them, they are sending new clients to you. And this is happening on an ongoing and overall basis. Now I'm going to share with you what some of these elements may look like. Okay. So that's kind of the principle in general. So we laid out the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel. And I want to give you both a complicated version, and I want to give you a simple version. And you can create anything in between or anything that you want, but I want to give you something that's as stripped down, as simple as possible, so that you can just kind of plug into it if you don't have something like this built. And then I want to give you something that maybe is a lot more complicated, and that you can over time build. So here's the idea and what we're doing with our marketing flywheel. So people are coming in the top of the funnel right here, in all the different ways that I just showed you, right? And I'm not going to list them all, but ads, books, shorts, content, right? We do SEO. We're doing blogs. I have 160 both video podcast and audio podcasts. And in fact, I'm ramping my podcast back up again next month. We're going to do a big launch of the podcast. So they're coming in the top of the funnel right here. This is the beginning of the flywheel process. And then they are being warmed up. They are getting to know me through content, and a big one, book. Now, here's this is both a cheat code. I'm going to give you, again, I'm going to break down some details, but this is both a cheat code, if you will, and an opportunity to kind of accelerate the process of your flywheel. There are several things that you can do and that you can focus on in your marketing that will make far more difference than other things. Here's what I mean by that. If somebody is scrolling on Facebook, they're doing that, generally speaking, in a mindless manner. They're not looking for anything. At least that's true for myself. And I think that's true for many of you. Now, I do a lot of Facebook advertising, and I have spent somewhere in the range of $2 million on Facebook over the years. So I am a believer in it. I'm not telling you not to be, but here's the thing you have to understand. You're getting them not searching for an answer. You're getting them at a point where they're searching for entertainment. And so they're coming to you really, really far at the top of that funnel, right? If you're talking about that funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, they're coming in way at the top. They're not interested in you. They're not paying much attention, but there may be something that you say in a video that they watch where they go, you know what, this is interesting. I've been thinking about fill in the blank, writing a book, getting help with this problem that I have, solving this issue that I face in my life. And so you're bringing them in at the very top of the funnel, which means there is more work to do to get them to the bottom of the funnel. Makes sense, right? Now, here's the cool thing, and here's the cheat. There are certain things that you can do that move people more quickly and even bring people in closer to the bottom of the funnel. What are those things? Number one, anybody that reads your book and still likes you and is still interested in you, right? Because sometimes people read your book and go, yeah, we think differently about that. Great, that's cool. I don't want to know that. And they're not interested in pursuing me. Totally fine. But if somebody reads your book and then contacts you, they are much further down the funnel towards the bottom of it than anybody that watches a short form video or an ad or reads a blog post or listens to a podcast. They're much, much further down the process. Another thing, big opportunity, speaking engagements. If you do a speaking engagement and you're on stage, literally standing above the crowd, you are entering into that prospect for your 45-minute speech or 60 minutes or 15 or however long you have, much closer to the bottom of the funnel than you are with anything else, because they already see you as an authority. And in the 30 or 45 minutes that you've given them, they have decided if they like you or not, and if you can help them with their problem and offer them a solution. So those are a couple of cheats when it comes to this marketing flywheel and when it comes to accelerate people through the process of top of funnel all the way to becoming a client. Okay. That's why people love speaking engagements. And that's why people that use their books well love their books, because they realize that the best customers come from their book. Okay. So with the marketing flywheel, we start at the top of the funnel from whatever range. And let's say that they're all the way at the top. They saw an ad, they filled an application, whatever. We give them some content. They're an email autoresponder. They watch a video or two. Maybe they even have a call with somebody. So they're moving through the process. They fill an application, they have a call, etc. But let's say, now we get 300 to 400 applications a month. So we don't do that many calls because, you know, some people fill an application, schedule a call, and never show up. And so I don't know what we do, but let's say we do 150 to 200 calls every single month. Well, we're not bringing on 150 or 200 clients. We may bring on 20 or 30 clients in a given month. So that means that 9 out of 10 of those calls that we're doing, or 8 out of 10, or whatever the number is, isn't becoming a client, at least a high ticket client. So what happens? Well, that person needs to be moved back so that they are now being warmed up again and being given another opportunity to potentially become a client in some other way, right? And then hopefully somewhere down the line, they do become a client, right? And ideally, the result that you get for them is fantastic. And now the beautiful part of the flywheel is you put them in some type of referral program or campaign so that they are sending more people to you on a regular basis. Now, here's another cheat. I said books, I said speaking. Number 3, referrals. Referrals. The biggest thing that people need to become a client of yours is trust. Where does trust happen? It happens at the bottom, right? They get to know you, they get to like you, and then they get to trust you. And that's when they become a client. The beautiful part about referrals is that trust is referred. Trust is conferred from the person that that they know and they like and they trust. And they asked and said, hey, who do you know that can help me with this problem? And they said, man, I got a great gal for you. You need to call her. And so now the trust that your past client had is passed on to 80%, 75%, 90%, who knows what the number is, but a significant amount of that trust is passed on. That's why people love referrals, because referrals take them almost to the very bottom of the funnel itself, right? Where they become clients. So this part of the flywheel is really, really important. However, all of it is, right? The flywheel works because all the gears of the belt are doing their little job, right? They're all doing it. It doesn't fall down at referrals. It doesn't fall down at the fact that only 1 in 10 calls are becoming clients. It doesn't fall down on the warming up part, right? Now, maybe it's not perfect. And that's the cool thing about a flywheel. The cool thing about a flywheel is this thing will work even if the belt is creaky, even if it's not oiled well. This thing will work if you're doing the right things at the top of the funnel and moving people around the funnel. It will work. And the beautiful thing is that as you fix things, right, as you fix the middle of the funnel, let's say you don't have a great email autoresponder campaign, so you fix that, boom, guess what? This thing is now operating better and better. And now let's say that you decide to start creating content and sending it to your email list or posting it on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Great. Or maybe you're doing a podcast now and you're having that podcast cut up into 16 different pieces so that it can be repurposed into shorts, etc. Well, guess what? Your top of the funnel now is working better than ever. So you can always improve these pieces, but you have to make sure that you have these pieces in place to begin with when it comes to your funnel, okay? When it comes to your marketing flywheel. One of the biggest places that we have quite honestly fallen down, but we get a ton of business in, is in the referral area. I mean, we get referrals every single month of people that become clients. In fact, the biggest client we've ever brought on came from a referral. We have clients that have spent multiple 6 figures with us because somebody else referred them. And yet I do not have a great referral system. That's something that we are working on significantly in the first quarter of 2023, where we're reminding people what we do, where we're giving gifts to our past clients, where we're keeping in touch with our past clients because they had a great experience with us. They have a book. They have just moved on to the next shiny object or thing in their business. Great. We have to do a better job. But guess what? If it's already working for us and we can still improve it, it's going to work even better. And it's going to create more systematic growth for the business. Okay. So with all that said, let me give you a couple of simple ideas. And then I want to give you the more complicated version and share with you what we're doing and how well it's working right now in bestseller publishing. Okay. So let's go. I'm just going to draw it right over here. We're going to go simple and a little bit more complicated. So simple, remember, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of the funnel. If I were in your shoes and I was just getting started with a new consulting business, or I was just starting to scale up my business, or I was interested in creating this for a new thing or a newer thing, I would try to be as simple as possible right out of the gate and move people through the funnel as quickly as possible. I would do that in 2 ways. Number one, I would do that with speaking engagements. Speaking engagements. Now you may say, well, I don't speak. I don't want to speak. Gotcha. Then ignore this part of it. This is what I would do. And I'm trying to give you the simplest way to like create some positive momentum and movement in the business. I would do speaking. Why? Well, if I could speak in front of my ideal audience, then I know I'm going to enter in probably the middle of the funnel. And if I do a good job in the speech, then I'm going to be moving a percentage of those people to the bottom of the funnel very, very quickly. By the time I get off the stage, I may have a group of people that circle up and that say, we really want to work with you, or we'd like more information, or could you speak? Now, that's not just because I'm good, but I do like speaking and I am pretty good at it, but it's also because that model works fast, okay? So if you're wanting to start something, you need to have some type of speaking within your business that moves people very quickly. The second thing that I would do, and not in any particular order, is I would begin using my book in every way, both to get speaking and to warm up prospects. And I said clients, but let's call it prospects. To warm up prospects and to create referral opportunities. Okay. So my book helps me get speaking. Check. My book, if anybody does have a conversation with me, my book is going in their hands. So if somebody says, hey, I'm really interested in work with you, let's get on a telephone call. Great. We get on a telephone call. We talk. If the telephone call is 7 days later, I have gotten their address and the book is already on their desk before our call, because I want them to see it. And I am ideally even saying, hey, you don't have time to read the whole book. Read chapter 3, read chapter 4. You're going to really enjoy it. And I think it applies to you. Fantastic. You're warming them up. You're using the authority piece, the biggest authority piece you have, to move them without you being present, move them from the middle of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. So I want to get every single prospect that I have something scheduled with, or if I have a call immediately with them, then I'm going to send them the book if they become a client immediately. Okay. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my book in the hands of people that could refer me business. Now, if you're just starting something, then you may not have a big list of past clients, right? Or current clients. But number one, I'd get a couple copies of my book in the hands of every single current client and every single past client, if you have any. And I would say, hey, I just want to give you a copy of my best-selling book. I was thinking about you the other day, nice thing about your relationship with them. And then say, look, if you ever run across anybody that is interested in the things I do, give them a copy of my book. I sent you a couple copies so you could give one away. That's it. And hey, if you'd like to talk, give me a ring anytime or text me, that kind of thing. So use your book for referrals with current clients and past clients, and use your book to set up any type of referral relationship that you can. What does a referral relationship look like? Well, if you're an estate planning attorney, a referral relationship might look like you contacting a financial advisor and saying, look, every time you take someone through the financial advice part of it, and let's say they're a young family, give them a copy of my book, free. I'm going to give you 50 of them right here. Give them a copy of my book, and I will happily have a consultation with them to talk about how they can protect their estate now that you've developed a financial plan for them, right? This is a synergistic relationship. You are adding value to the financial planner by offering a gift for the financial planner's client, because that could be your client as well. So create referrals through past clients, current clients, and synergistic relationships, right? And what's going to happen is you're going to start bringing on clients. You're going to start the flywheel process. And in that flywheel process, every time someone becomes a client, they immediately get 2 or 3 books, and you tell them the same thing that you told every other past client, so that you can start creating the momentum so that every new client is referring you 1 or 2 clients. Now, this is the simple way. This is the fast and simple way. This is a way to create movement right away. If you do speaking engagements and you do a good job and you have something cool to offer for that crowd, you're going to get clients, you're going to get opportunities. You just are. And if you have a book, and obviously you do, or you're going to, then you should be using it. These are the two things that I would do. They're simple. There's nothing complicated. You don't need to post on social media. You don't need to understand how an email autoresponder works. You don't need to do any tech or build out any kind of funnel. This is all organic, right? This is all just you working with people, giving out your books, and doing physical speaking engagements, whether online or offline. Now, it would be cool if you added some elements into the flywheel, right? Somewhere down the line, you might want to create an email list, right? You might want to, warm up. If you were given 30 referrals in a month and 3 of them became clients, you got 27 that need to be warmed up with content, with emails. So down the line, you'll add things into your flywheel that will move people from the top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. Everybody clear on that? All right, let me give you a more complicated solution, right? Because who wants simple when you can do complicated? So I'll give you bestseller publishing. I'll tell you what we're doing right now. It's reasonably complicated from the standpoint that there's a lot of moving parts in the process, but I'll share with you what it all looks like. So the top of the funnel, I shared with you the items. We're running ads on a continual basis. Somewhere in the range of $40,000 to $50,000 a month in advertising. We run shorts, just pure video content. Just get to know Rob. 30 seconds of me talking about a topic, 60 seconds of me talking about a topic. If someone watches the whole 60 seconds, then we're retargeting them back to fill out an application or back to more content. Because if they watched all 60 seconds, it must be interesting to them. And so I'm talking about books and book marketing and all of that stuff, right? So I also have content that we're creating via podcast and via blogs. I do search engine optimization. I have an SEO guy that we work with. So a number of different things that we're doing. I don't remember the entire list. You saw it on the other, and I can create copies of this and send it to you. We're using my book funnel, obviously pretty big. We send traffic to it every single day. We have my application funnel. This is all top of the funnel stuff, right? This is all top of the funnel to the beginning of the middle of the funnel stuff. So we're doing all of this to keep filling that top of the funnel. Do you know, Rob? Do you know bestseller publishing? Have you thought about writing a book? Do you know what a book can do for you? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, buy Rob's book. Oh, by the way, maybe you want to have an application and a coaching call with Austin, David, Joe, etc. Right? So all that's being done in this part of the flywheel. And I'll use another kind of fancy starburst color there, right? So from there, what are we doing? Well, from there, we are warming them up. We do that obviously with the book. We do that with an email autoresponder, right? So they're getting automated emails, but they're also getting email blasts from me on a regular basis. We're warming them up with content. So we send them back to the YouTube channel. We send them back to the podcast. Hey, watch this. Hey, listen to this. And we hope that we can get them on a call because of our application funnel. We always send them back to the application to a scheduled call. Now, what happens, I told you, 8.5 out of 10 times is nothing. They don't become a client. They don't buy anything. Maybe they already bought a book or a course or something, but they're not doing anything. So at that point, we're doing two things. One is they stay in my list unless they opt out. And so we continue to focus on email, content, and then drive them right back into a call application. That's number one. Let's keep warming them up. Let's keep giving them content. We have people that come around after 18 months on my list, 2 years on my list, 3 years on my list, whatever the time frame is. But the other thing that we're doing, which I only did sporadically in the past, it always worked really, really well, but I never did it systematically. Now we're doing it every single month. And that is, we are driving every single call back, or every single person on my list that had a call that is somewhere in the funnel. We're driving them all back monthly into that's supposed to be workshop. I just did my workshop yesterday. The idea is this, and I'll give you a fantastic example because it worked exactly the way it was supposed to last month, and it worked exactly the way it was supposed to yesterday because I've already gotten feedback on it. So the idea is this: if they came in the top of the funnel, they watched an ad, they saw a short, they were referred to us, whatever, they had a call, their trust wasn't enough to commit to a 5-figure investment, multi-5-figure, 6-figure investment. Their trust wasn't enough. Understandably, might be the very, very first call that they had with us. Well, now, and that wasn't with me, right? They've never talked to me at this point. They've only watched my video, read my book, perhaps, etc. Well, we're sending them back to the book. We're sending them back to the content, but we want them to have some engagement directly with me. So we offer a workshop, and that workshop is live. We're going to do it once a month, and it's going to be a 3.5-hour workshop. And on that workshop, that 3.5 hours with me, I engage with as many people as I can, and then I make an offer at the end of it. So yesterday, we had about 1,700 people registered for the workshop. I wish that many came. I'd make a lot more money and impact a lot more people, but that's not what happened. But we had, we had 250 at any one time on the workshop, and I made an offer. Workshop's 3.5 hours. I made my first offer about 2 hours in. So 2 hours of teaching, content, sharing, examples, case studies. I know this is a lot. It's a lot of talking. My throat was sore after all that. I talk a lot anyway, let alone 3.5 hours of me talking. Gosh, I was bored to death with myself. But I made the offer, and the offer is always with a $997 deposit. Because guess what? After they listen to me for 3 hours, they want what we have. They want to work with us. They want that success. But in many cases, they can't afford the investment. So rather than me filling the calendars of my sales team with people that already know that they can't afford the investment, I give them the investment amount of what our initial offer is. I say, you got to put down $1,000. We'll get on a call. It's refundable. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll give you your money back. If it's a fit, we'll move on. We'll figure it out. Fantastic. So I got an email this morning. We got 5 deposits right away. So that's 5 people, and almost all of those people become clients because they already know the investment. They know the details. They've listened to me for 3 hours or 3.5, or in some cases an hour, hour and a half. And remember, they're coming to us in most cases more like the middle of the funnel, right? These are people that maybe already had a call and didn't convert for one reason or another. So we're bringing them back through the flywheel. And so I got an email from one of the people, and he said, I was referred to you guys a couple of months ago. I've been talking to a couple of other people in your space for ghostwriting. And after being on the workshop with Rob for 2 hours, I knew bestseller publishing was for me. And so that completely unsolicited email, created even more confidence in me that what we're doing is exactly right. And that is, we're leading them to 2 opportunities to convert and becoming a client. One is the one-to-one call with a sales associate. The other is a one-to-many call with me on a monthly workshop. Now, every workshop we do is worth about 6 figures to the company. I expect that this one will be as well. We will email people the replay over the next several days, and then we will close the offer down until a month later, and we will do a completely different hook. It'll be maybe a book launch workshop, or it'll be a how to profit from your book workshop, right? We'll change the hook every single month, because some people that saw the workshop last month maybe think, well, I already saw that workshop. So we want to give them a different take on the content, a different take on the workshop. So we'll change it up a little bit, keep it fresh as much as possible, and keep converting people that are already at the bottom of the funnel or close to it, but just don't have enough trust to become clients. Beautiful. Now we're bringing on more clients than ever. right? We have the top of the funnel filled. We have hundreds of applications coming in. We're converting some of those in the one-on-one calls. We're converting more of those in the monthly workshop. Now we put them into our system. We dazzle them. We help them to get the success that they want. I teach them. They show up hopefully on these calls. They watch the replays. And as they're experiencing success, I ask for referrals. They enter our referral system, and more and more and more of this happens. Now, again, this is a little more complicated, but in some ways it's not, because you could do the exact same thing. You could have a workshop. If you have 10 or 20 leads a month that you're not converting, you could do an impromptu workshop and just invite those 20 people to kind of a group Q&A where you present a great client case study and then talk with them one-on-one about that client case study applying to them. So you don't have to do it exactly like this. You can use elements of what I'm sharing with you to create, some version of the middle, right? Some version of somewhere between simple and complicated based on wherever you're at in your business. Now, by the way, when it comes to simple, what did I tell you that you should do? Well, the first thing I talked about was speaking in your book. That's the very thing that I'm using. I'm just speaking on camera. I'm just speaking on Zoom. So I'm just creating my own virtual speaking engagement every single month. I figure, you know what? To double my business this year, which is what my goal is, to double my business this year, it's worth me doing 12 speaking engagements right here in my house. That was my attitude. And honestly, it's worth a lot more. I mean, I could do a lot more speaking engagements than just 12, but I said, okay, let me do 12. And I think I can pretty close to double my business if I'm just willing to do that. And I tighten up a couple of other areas.